Hi, I'm Christopher Fülling. I'm directing the awakening ceremony on Wednesday night for the tasm. I got involved when Melissa Ayres asked me to direct this project, since she knows that I've directed a number of these large audience participation integration things on the playa. I did a memorial procession for Pepe Ozan and the Narwhal last year, and a bunch of those big operas in the late 90s with Pepe. So tasm is not only a object, but it's a show. The backstory is basically that some crazy guys in Oakland channeled this weird plan from the aliens to build this thing and then take it to the playa at a certain time, a certain place, and do certain rituals, and then it would awaken. At that point, there's a great disagreement amongst the two factions, some of whom think that this will be, the aliens will come and save our ailing planet at that moment. Others, however, recognize it as a destructive alien siege machine, and so they are creating a counter-protest to prevent the awakening ritual from happening. Obviously, it's really important for our performers to understand the backstory and the reality of the show world. But, you know, Burning Man is a no spectators environment, and it really invites people to dive into the story with their own sort of partisan agenda. In many ways, the cognitive dissonance created by different opinions is part of that, you know, the rabbit hole of Burning Man, the temporary autonomous zone. You know, it's that idea that, well, you know, some people say it's this, some people say it's that. You're going to have to figure it out for yourself. The operas I directed with the visionary sculptor Pepe Ozan were, I think in many ways, I often like to think of it, and many people say it, concentrated Burning Man experience. I think it was really formative in the early years, the late 90s of Burning Man. It was not only participatory in the sense that, you know, a couple hundred performers, many of whom were only reachable by the internet, and then also hundreds or so who were recruited on playa, and then, you know, several thousand people witnessed this, and every one of them had a participatory element, whether it was jumping through the giant flaming pentagon in '99 or pulling the giant lingam in 2000. It was always designed as a way to create something big and giant and original that could sort of only happen here. It was a religious institution, but that was fundamentally a artistic, creative act. Well, there are two main challenges, I think, in the Burning Man of today, of the late, you know, the 2010s and things like that. In some ways, as people will say, Burning Man is a victim of its own success. It's wonderful that such incredible theme camps and art cars have been created and that can come every year, but they also then create a kind of dominant set of expectations about what's possible and what you do. Fortunately, there's enough options. You can still chart your own experience, and I think that personal experience, unfolding experience, is still, you know, pivotal for most people in Burning Man. So the two challenges that we face in animating the tasm as a participatory performative experience are, one, that Burning Man as an organization has pivoted away from sponsoring and supporting performance. It generally focuses on supporting static objects, and this means that it's really hard to get a large trained group of people rehearsed enough and on the playa to really create an experience that involves human interactions. The other ones are just the logistics of us pulling this all together. I mean, now we're in the 2000s. This fundamentally is it's an art build project, and I've got a few sort of trained performers that I can bring in, and now we're beginning the process of integrating and creating that culture and those experiences. We are doing our best, and I think it's going to be great. But that's the difference. I should also note that this is a fantastic project, and it's wonderful to see how well community art development has developed at Burning Man. It's very impressive, and I'm grateful to be part of this process and bring some of the experiences I've had in the past and offer